Hello, in this episode we're going to take a toy-tastic adventure through Duckburg, and we're going to take a look at a couple new Transformer toys. So stick around. Welcome back to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. My name's Rob, and like I said, in this episode we're going to take another toy-tastic adventure. Like I said, we're going to take an adventure through Duckburg. Recently, I went to Toys R Us, like probably most of us have, to check out their discounts, their clearance, their liquidation. I can honestly say, me and my family were never the problem. We spent way too much money in there, but we want to try to give support as long as we can. But one of the things I scored was something I didn't even know existed. Funko has started putting out the Disney Afternoon figures. I had to get Scrooge McDuck. They also have Chip and Dale from the Rescue Rangers. Dale comes with Zipper, which is pretty cool, and Baloo from Tailspin. I would love to see them make more of these figures. But getting this, it prompted me to take a look at some of the other DuckTales inspired things I have in my collection. So I'm going to bring a couple of them to you right now. By the way, this is one of the best figures I've ever seen of Scrooge McDuck. Funko, you did a great job. So let me put that to the side. First off, way back in the day, well, another new addition we'll start with, getting ahead of myself. There's these little metal figures that are, I don't know if kids find them popular, if it's people my age that find them popular, but they have everything from wrestlers to Street Fighter characters from the Capcom game to Disney characters and Marvel superheroes, DC superheroes. But when I was at Walmart the other day, I saw they had a Gizmo Duck. Now this is a metal figure. Great detail for how little he is. I mean, granted, he doesn't have that many colors, and a lot of details are smoothed over because of his armor, but it works so well in this medium. Love this figure. It's up on my shelf all the time, ever since I got it. Gizmo Duck has always been one of my favorite characters that they introduced on DuckTales, and I hear he's going to be making an appearance very soon in the DuckTales reboot, which has been on hiatus and has kind of sucked. But anyway, picked this up recently, which will lead me to what I was going to say, that back in the day, is probably Kellogg's had, because I truly can't remember, had, when they used to have prizes and cool toys in the cereal box, they had DuckTales. And this is the Gizmo Duck that they had, in a great pose that is very reminiscent from the cartoon. Mine, of course, is a little beat up. I've had them for 20, 30 years. And great part of my collection. Cherish that. But also in that, they had Scrooge. Here he is with a money bag, strutting his stuff. Looks like he's going to attack me. But these were great little toys. I mean, they don't do cereal toys like this anymore. Let's see if we got a date on here. 1991. Kellogg's. I was correct. They're from Kellogg's. But 1991, that was when DuckTales was probably at its peak, but sadly hidden down as well, since it started actually in 88, I believe. Which leads me to Happy Meal toys. First off, Happy Meals, they used to have an under 3 option. I don't know if they still do. I've never chosen that for my kids. But I'm a total loser for not knowing this, which nephew it is, but it's one of the nephews. And this is the under 3 toy, which kind of goes along with the Kellogg's toys, and the same type of material, sculpting. See if I can find a date on here. Doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's from '88, because what I'm going to show you now is definitely from 1988. And these were the DuckTales Happy Meal toys. This style was very popular for Happy Meals at the time. They did Garfield, the Muppet Babies, Mac the Knight, all those type of characters in little vehicles that they can come out. Got his cool spats. And one of the reasons I picked these up were what great condition they were in and how cheap they were. But here he is. It's kind of funny. Scrooge never really drove in the cartoon. He always had Duckworth drive. But here he is in his cool little car. I apologize if you can hear my cat. It's trying to get the other one to play ball with it. The next one, because I do have a full set of these, is a Launchpad McQuack. And I love that expression on his face. But nothing fancy, just little rolly wheels, moving propeller. It's kind of giving a salute, kind of has a adventurous look on his face. Sorry if that's super blurry. Next are the nephews. As you can see, none of them are yellow like that other one, which is why I didn't know which one it would be. I mean, those are like the old school colors from the Carl Barks era in the comics, but I'm not familiar. But here we go, Huey, Dewey, and Louie on a jet ski. They don't come off, just like the launch pad didn't come out of his plane. But it's a nice little sculpt on them. And it's a good way to incorporate all 3 of them into one toy. Now the next one is Webby. And what I find really interesting about this is almost exactly the same as, I believe, the Miss Piggy Happy Meal toy that came with like a big wheel that she sat on. That came out at the height of popularity of the Muppet Babies. Or it could have been Take New York, or Manhattan I mean, where they were first introduced. But she comes off the bike. Another great sculpt. I am a Disney Duck fanatic, and eventually I'll start putting some of my Donald collection up here. But as a good start, some of the DuckTales. Again, inspired by that awesome Funko figure, which is here. Excuse me. Ooh. And I hope to get the other ones. The Chip and Dale are awesome. I hope they do Monterey Jack and Gadget eventually. And I hope they do Launchpad and a couple others of the DuckTales. As far as Tailspin, I mean, Baloo's awesome, but I don't really need a Kit or a Rebecca or any of those characters. But DuckTales and Chip and Dale they could do a lot more with. And if you're doing this, give us some gummy bears. Come on. Gummy bear action figures would be awesome. But we wrap up another Toytastic adventure. Okay, next I'd like to take a look at some new Transformers that have come out, probably over the past year. My son is a Transformers fanatic. He's a 3-year-old that has come straight from Cybertron. So, to take a look at his figures and mine, the vintage ones, I thought, why not make a new segment? And we'll call it Straight from Cybertron.
And it goes Transformers, mini, a die, a box was about to eat us, Satans. Yeah!
Growing up with not having a lot of money, the mini-cons were one of the only Transformers I had. I did have a few of the big ones, but the mini-cons were at a great price point that my parents could afford. So it just blew me away that now that I'm getting back into Transformers because of my son, the new sculpts of some of the mini-cons that have been released, I mean, they just blow my mind. Let's take a look at some of them. First off, Beachcomber. The lovable dune buggy kind of had a surfer's personality in the cartoon. But back in the day, I wish I still had him, he was only like this big. Tiny compared to this. But he did have a pullback feature, if I do remember correct, that he could move. This one does not. Just normal spinning wheels. But check out the awesome Autobot symbol. Has great work on the roll bar and the engine here. But let's transform them. And by the way, the new Transformers, for the past couple years, because I've been trying to buy some older ones for my son as well, are very modular. They're very posable, much more than they used to be. And if you accidentally rip an arm off, it just pops right back on. Which is good because I have caught my son doing pretty much what we used to do with Rubik's Cubes back in the day, where if he can't get something to, we used to switch the stickers around so it looked like we were smart. But what he does is, at 3, since he can't get some of them to transform, he'll pop off pieces of it and then put them together and then snap it all back into place. So, lucky for me and for him that they're made very modular, I guess is a good way to say it. But look at that. What a great sculpt. I mean, back in the day, we would have never have thought Beachcomber would look like this. And mind you, he's one of the more simple ones. Let's take a look at another one. Sea Spray. Who, by the way, had a very goofy voice in the cartoon. But the hovercraft, again, was very, very tiny originally when I was a kid. But he also had the air blowers that moved. He also comes with a gun, but I couldn't find that at the moment in my son's little Transformers box. But let me transform him. And I think he's awesome. Again, great posing, great just all-around toy, great for a 3-year-old, great for me. Back in the day, these dudes would just flip up and, oh look, there, he's a robot, oh, now he's a hovercraft, oh, now he's a robot, now he's a hovercraft. They did not transform this intricately or look this great. Look at me, he's flexing. Check out my guns, bro! But now we get to my favorite. And as a kid, this toy was my favorite. So it just warms my heart that this one has a great transformation and looks so boss. But Cosmo, or Cosmos, the UFO. Love the colors, the green and the yellow. But he has such a great anime look to his, we'll just say his angles. Oh, see, pop his little head up there. But I love how his shoulders stick up like that, and the angles of his feet, and how this looks armored. He's got guns on his thighs. Shoot, man. Don't mess with him. And how his thrusters turn into like a jetpack on the back. This has become one of my favorites. Just because of the new toy. But it has a very, like I said, like an anime inspired look to it. To me anyway. With the big shoulder pads. Armored, it looks like a Gundam or something almost. But that's it for right now straight from Cybertron. And we're going to wrap up tonight's episode with that. So, I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, keep being rad and stay dorky. Peace!